Hello and welcome to the Average Initiative, the average podcast by average guys that know an average amount about an average amount. We're going to talk about anyway. My name is Lewis.
And I'm George. Hello.
Hello,
It's me
George.
again.
How
Hello. I'm
you
so
doing?
tired.
Not,
I'm so tired.
why are you tired?
Oh, because it's Monday. And I wasn't prepared for Mondays.
You hate Mondays.
I hate Mondays. I'm a big ginger cat who eats lasagna and hates
Lasagne.
Mondays. Lasagne.
Lasagne.
Bon
Uh,
apple tea.
so, what are we talking about today, George?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You know what? I'm running with it. You started
Yeah.
taking the mick out of me, and I'm
No, I'm
making
not
it a
taking the
thing.
mic. I would be disappointed if you didn't.
And we're moving on. So today we're talking about Episode 7 of WandaVision, titled "Breaking the Fourth Wall." And this one, I think this is like the start of the big reveal. What's actually going on
Yeah,
with everything?
for sure.
We're starting to get a lot more questions answered. And we're also going to be discussing, given that this is probably the last sitcom-esque WandaVision episode we'll get. We think, we have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to discuss some of our favourite sitcoms. Just chat about them. You know, just keep it low key and just have a good chin wag.
Yeah, bit up, bit
Dog
down, but
barked
ready to
right
do
as
it.
I went on to that.
Yeah.
Do that bit again. And just chat about our favourite sitcoms and just sitcoms in general, which ones we like, and have a bit of
Which ones we don't
of a
like.
low key chat. Exactly. Get out of here, Seinfeld. Even though I've never seen it.
Yeah. So we're moving on. Damn it. I was
Right.
going to use that later when we brought up Seinfeld because I haven't seen it either. Okay, so if we were to I'll kick off the chat about the older Episode 7 of WandaVision. So the opening, so obviously we're moving into the sort of the 2000s, 2010s now. So
Mm.
the opening was very Office-esque, wasn't it? With like it opens on the sign and like has the little jingle and all that. But the
Yeah.
majority of the episode is more Modern Family, I'd say.
Yeah. It's that kind of look to the camera
Yeah.
and almost mockumentary style. I think it's just kind of a blend of all of them because I mean there's a lot of sitcoms out there that are doing that. The
Yeah.
Office kind of popularized it, and you had Parks and Rec and Modern Family, and a lot of them kind of spun off. But they also did it last week, didn't they, with the whole Malcolm in the Middle
Oh yeah,
talking
yeah,
to the
yeah.
camera kind of thing.
I,
It
I,
wasn't exactly the same.
I think the more modern sitcoms in terms of like Modern Family and stuff are more where I think where Malcolm in the Middle was more him talking, like it was his show, and so he was talking to the audience. Whereas I think the more recent ones is like the ensemble is all talking to this sort of
the
essentially an
crew.
interviewer or like a documentary
Yeah,
kind of thing.
which is good because they kind of make fun of that in this. I say make fun of it, but they kind of hang a lantern on it because
Yeah,
you see things like in The Office, perhaps a Modern Family, but you never kind of see what the program itself is, and you think, why are they just filming? Why is this
yeah.
film crew
Aside
filming
from like
everything?
the end of the Office, where they go into
Mm.
the whole documentary thing. But like for example, it's when Vision is doing his little interview bit, and he's like, "Why am I even talking to you? This is preposterous. Why am I
Yeah,
here?"
and you get the interviewer say to Wanda, do you think you deserve this?
Yeah,
Kind of prompting an interview. And she's like, wait, what? Hang on, who am I talking
yeah.
to?
You're
And it's
not
kind of
supposed to
that
speak.
she's questioning it.
Yeah,
Um, but I think the bulk of this episode really is Wanda is losing control
yeah.
by the looks
She's
of
even
things.
more crazy than
Yeah,
she has been so far.
yeah, she's having a bit of a midlife mum crisis. It's really weird because to me, Elizabeth Olsen doesn't seem old enough to have kids this age.
Well, I think she turned 32 today or yesterday, I believe. I think I saw that on
Oh
Instagram.
right,
So let's say, how old are the kids? Are they 10?
I guess so.
So I
Yeah,
guess
10.
if she was 22 and she had them, like theoretically,
That's younger than us.
yeah.
My eyes are
But
looking in different directions. Sorry.
kind of like the original photo of our logo. My eyes are
Yeah,
pointing different
but
directions.
I don't even know how I'm doing that. Look, this is very entertaining for an audio medium. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, I still find it a bit jarring because Vision, original recipe Vision,
Yeah,
he looks
chicken.
like, yeah, but Paul Bettany looks like a 40-year-old dad. Like the bit where he in the last one in the title sequence where he hits Billy with the paper
Oh yeah, yeah.
or Tommy, whichever one's
I'm
which. I
assuming
get
Paul Bettany
confused.
is a fair amount older than Elizabeth Olsen, as it is anyway.
Yeah,
He's
Well,
got to
yeah,
be
I
in his
think
40s, right?
yeah, well, he's married to Jennifer Connelly, you know, so they were both big like '90s stars, weren't they? '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, yeah. He must be in his 40s then.
But yeah, I still find it weird when you know they're her kids, even though obviously by all means they could be her kids.
Yeah, we still don't really. We're still not sure about that. I would assume that you know how so you see stuff in her house is changing and she can't seem to change it back, and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff. I assumed that because she made the hex larger, her overall control is sort of thinning. Assuming it is her still doing it, which I think it is, just whether she might be getting influenced, whatever. We'll get to that
yeah,
later. I think as she's made the hex bigger, she has less control over stuff because it's sort of like stretching her powers thinner. If that makes sense.
that is a good point actually. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Because she's covering a very large area at this point.
Yeah, she's spreading herself too thin because she does look like worn out, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Like she's got a hangover or something.
yeah, like even yeah, when she wakes up in bed, it's like she literally looks down at her outfit. She's like, oh, slapping her face. Like every time I wake up hungover and I'm wearing a leotard.
I have to admit, and I hate to say it, but like Elizabeth Olsen in a leotard is like, ooh, good choice on that. And I'm going to leave that there before I get arrested.
Arrested.
I mean, I like Paul Bettany in the leotard as well. You know, I'm
Oh yeah.
you know, I'm encompassing. But yeah,
That's a
speaking
vision
of which,
to behold.
oi, tish. I wonder what he'll wear next episode.
Hey.
Hey. But speaking of Vision, he's got a little side adventure. Him and Darcy.
He did. Speaking
who
of
got caught in
Darcy,
the hex.
So did
last
you notice
episode.
that as she got taken into the hex, she was handcuffed to the car, and then
Yeah,
when
and
she
then
comes in, she's in chains. Like she's an
She's
escape
an escape
artist.
artist. Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
That's a nice touch.
Little touches like that I like.
Yeah.
But it's strange. It's strange because it's like because of the whole modern sitcom thing. It's shot in a way of being like a documentary, which is kind of how WandaVision is kind of filmed as well. Like,
Like, as in
it's not filmed
they're
like,
watching. It's like people watching them do stuff.
yeah, like the other sitcoms, like the 50s and 60s, they're kind of done as like a flat set. So, you know, like how sitcoms
Yeah.
are like a multi-camera one, whereas this was done in as a single camera show. So it was weird because you're watching a single camera show of WandaVision, but it's not actually WandaVision. But then there's other bits like they're in character as themselves in the sitcom, but they're not themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
It was it's getting to the point I'm not even sure which bits are the sitcom a lot of the time. I know there's still the ratio change and stuff,
yeah,
but
that's
sometimes
what I was trying to look out
sometimes
for.
I don't always clock it when it changes.
It's usually like the more significant scenes, I think, like the ending of the last episode and the ending of this
Yeah.
one. You really
Yeah.
notice it. There's a couple bits like we were saying about Vision doing his interview,
Yeah.
and it's weird because, like I say, it's not like they're changing the film style.
Yeah, it's just the
I think what they could have done with this episode is done it all, you know, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and The Office, where it's all freehand. It's not, there's no like
yeah.
smooth,
I know what you mean.
steady,
Yeah.
static shots. It is all like shoulder rigged.
So
I
it's
think they should
like,
shot
it
the
sort of
whole
looks
thing.
like it looks like you literally just someone there watching kind of thing in a way.
Yeah, there is a cameraman following them.
Yeah.
I think I think that would have lended itself to this episode to kind of help
Yeah. I guess well,
differentiate that.
the scenes with Wanda in her house, like even the house is made up to look like the house from Modern Family. Like it's so similar, and even the way she's dressed and the way they're filming it, it's just so Modern Family.
But that's it. But then I think even Modern Family, like they do like the zoom ins, don't they, and the focus pulls.
Yeah.
And
Did they do any of that
things.
in this episode?
well, not that I've noticed, which is what I was saying. Like that's why it was kind of hard to tell when you were supposed to be in the real world and
Yeah.
in WandaVision because then also you've got all the stuff outside the hex. Which spoiler, what a letdown that was.
Well, I
Well,
got some points on that.
so
yeah.
far, but so I think that would have made it more noticeable then, because then you know you can even get all poncy about it and say like, oh the shakiness and unsteadiness of the cameras, the unsteadiness of the world they're in, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But I think that
It could have been a nice touch.
those different
yeah.
styles, because in the episode 3, is that the one where she first like gets rid of Monica?
At the end, yeah.
Yeah, with the babies.
The 70s kind of, yeah.
70s one. That's it. Because it's all on that flat film, like stage show, not a stage show, sound
Like a
stage.
set, like a set kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, like a multi-camera sitcom, and then when Monica mentions Ultron and you see the aspect ratio change, and then the camera then starts moving
Oh
as a
yeah.
single camera, and then you go, oh right, okay, this is the WandaVision, not WandaVision.
Not Wanda's WandaVision.
Yeah, not the sitcom. This is the actual show.
Yeah, the one that we're watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think something like that could have been useful for this, and also given that what like I say in Modern Family, like, given they are all based on a mockumentary style where it is kind of looks like shoulder rigs and by an actual cameraman. It's surprising they didn't bother with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's obviously a lot harder to do than setting up like cranes and stuff and whatever. You can redo those takes over and over again and whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just interesting.
Yeah, I know
But
what you mean.
enough about the actual production of it, because that's
So throughout the show, throughout this episode rather, it seems like Vision's trying to get back to Wanda, and so we're sort of led to believe that it's Wanda that doesn't want him to come back to her. Like I think he even says at one point, I think my wife is trying to stop me from coming back or whatever, with all the traffic lights and the various other things. But I mean, granted, what happens at the end of the episode? Are we assuming it is Wanda that does want him to come back, or is it?
well.
Is it
This was weird because
Agnes?
for me, when I watched it, I didn't even like. I knew okay, these things are here to stop him getting it, and that's kind of the joke. It's like, oh, the roadworks here, all right. Then they move down a bit. Oh, then there's the school children crossing. Oh, then there's the red light, and he's doing the bits of camera. He's like, oh, it's just been a weird day. Wait, what's going? No, hang on, I can fly. I'm a superhero, whatever. But I never once thought, oh, this is Wanda doing it. I just thought this is. I didn't think it was a character doing it. I thought it was an external force doing it, but I never thought it was anyone in particular.
Oh, see, because I originally I thought,
But-
Wanda doesn't want to see him right now because of all the shit's happened, and then with what happens at the end with, I'm just gonna say it, Agatha Harkness, I assumed that maybe because he was now aware of that something shady's going on, she now didn't want him to come back to Wanda because she still had stuff to do. Do you know what I mean? She wanted to get Wanda.
Yeah, see, I that's yeah. So I think it was the point of keeping them separated.
Yeah.
Like she tried to do when she tried to get him to leave the hex in the last episode.
Oh yeah, see that makes sense now, doesn't it? So she was basically goading him to
Yeah, like,
get out of
go
here.
get help. Like
Yeah.
you're aware what's going on. Because then you never know. She's probably made a deal with Wanda saying like, hey, if you want to get Vision's body, I can create a world where, you guys can live and have happy suburbia. But really, she's like siphoning off Wanda's powers without her realizing or something. And now Vision's aware. It's like, oh crap, that's a loose end.
It's going
I've
to be a
got
problem.
get rid of. But if that's the case, does Agnes know that Vision survived and that Wanda expanded the hex?
Ooh. Yeah, because you would
Because-
assume that she was in it the whole time. So, and if you're in it, can you see it expanding from the inside? Because you can't see the red walls, can you, from the inside?
No, but Wanda froze everyone in the town. But does that mean she froze Agnes? Which she probably didn't.
Yeah, I don't think she did. So when she's talking to the twins, and the twins, Billy, whichever one is Wiccan, said that he can hear lots of stuff in his head, and I'm assuming that he's hearing like the minds of the other people in the town. But then he says her head's empty, like he can't hear anything in her head, in Agnes's head. So maybe that's because
Yeah.
she's the only one that's not under Wanda's control.
Well, I don't know, because then she did the whole, oh, do you want to do that again? When she did the whole workout bit. Remember she was trying to get the babies to cry? Or Vision wouldn't let her hold the babies or something?
Yeah.
In one of the episodes, she just to wonder, like, do you
Oh,
want to take
bit,
that again?
Yeah. Well, I took that
But-
as because she's aware and she wants to keep it going, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but then so did, is it Herb, the Frankenstein guy in the Halloween episode? He kind of let on to Wanda when he's like, oh, Vision's not working tonight. Do we need to, like, redo anything, or...
I didn't.
And
I didn't take that as a sitcom reference.
Not the bit about like Vision not working, but he says something that alludes to like, do we need to like go again, like rechange this, or you change the script or something.
Did he? I must not. I must not have caught that.
Because also they're the two that are talking by the fence when Vision comes over.
Yeah, but you see in Agnes's little montage at the end, where it turns out it was Agatha all along or whatever. You do see her like do some magic on the neighbour's head.
Yeah,
Essentially.
so who knows? Maybe he's like a shield agent who went in, or maybe he's the beekeeper man. Whatever happened to the beekeeper?
Yeah, what did happen to that guy?
Maybe Pietro's the beekeeper.
So do we want to just touch on Monica for a second? So
Yep.
she's like driving with Jimmy, and then she's like, "Oh, there she is," or whatever. And we all thought it's going to be this big reveal that they've been teasing for 2 episodes, and it's just a random lady with a space truck.
Who has no ties to any established character,
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware.
And now, given that the actress has said that she's really excited for people to see who this space engineer is, I'd have to assume that this hasn't been revealed yet. Surely.
No, I'm thinking this is this is just the the Jimmy Woo of that group, like the army officer or agent who's like overseeing everything, and she's like, "Yeah, I've got your vehicle, Monica, because we have a past somehow."
Yeah.
And here's this weird vehicle, but it's not the actual engineer. Isn't her? Because
Yeah,
also she doesn't look like an engineer because she's a woman. Cut that out. I mean because she's wearing camo and things like that.
She looks very
women can be
army-ish.
scientists. But yeah, so I do agree with what I assume you're going to say, is that I think there is still this engineer in the background.
Yeah, there must be, because why would they tease it for 2 episodes? And the actress come out and say that she was really excited about it for it to be no one of importance.
When you say the actress, who are you talking about?
The actress, Monica Rambeau, the actress has said in like an interview that she's really excited for people to find out who this person is.
Well, they all keep saying it. Like Elizabeth Olsen said, we've got spoilers for the end of The Mandalorian, if you haven't seen that yet. This is your spoiler warning. The Luke Skywalker-esque thing at the end of that.
Well, see,
that big
I think
reveal.
that there's a misconception with that. I think someone asked her, "Is there a Luke Skywalker level cameo?" And she said yes.
Well, but then also Paul Bettany said on something recently, "Oh, there's another actor who's not been in it yet, who is a big reveal that I've always wanted to work with." So there is someone else out there.
Yeah, So there must
Still
be
to
someone coming.
Because you need, I think, someone else out there to tie everything up and explain what's going. You need a Basil exposition to be like, "Oh, I've been researching this for months, and I've got Darcy's notes, and with that, and what Monica's seen inside. Here you go. Here's what's happened." You think, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
Yeah, I think it's going to be my hopes of it being Fantastic Four or anything like that. I don't think that's going to be that, but I do think there's a strong chance it will be a character we've known before.
Yeah,
Not necessarily MCU, but
it will be someone recognizable. Like, oh, Dip. Okay. I mean, yeah, Fantastic Four would be nice, but I don't know if they'd have had time to, after this deal had gone through and whatnot, to do that.
Yeah.
Because the only thing we've heard about the MCU Fantastic Four is John Watts, the guy who did the Spider-Man films, is kind of helming it.
Yeah, I saw a tweet saying that they haven't even like started casting or filming, or like they're literally only talking about scripts at the moment. So it wouldn't I don't think it will be them, but it was just nice to theorize.
Yeah, it would be
dream.
good.
We can dream.
I mean, what if the twist if it's like Rocket Raccoon or something?
I wouldn't even be mad.
I would flip. I would do a full backflip, I think.
I mean, he probably is one of the most qualified, like in terms of aerospace kind of engineering.
Well, yeah, but then also, he could say he knows Captain Marvel from being in space, and therefore he knows Monica, kind of.
At this point, they could do anything.
How sick would that be, though? Like...
I would like that. I would.
But yeah, so then Monica tries to go back into the Hex, and she gets powers. What?
Yeah, see, this
is coming.
This is what I'm thinking, right? I'm still not sold on the fact. Well, I don't think she didn't have powers already. I might be the only one who thinks this, but she doesn't seem surprised at all. She sort of alluded to already that there's something up with her. She didn't want to have any tests. Like, she seemed coy about that, and now she's got these powers, and she's not afraid of Wanda. And I think it's because she already knows that she has power.
Yeah, I think it's been a kind of, maybe they've been recessed, and then the Hex has like helped activate them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So when she pushes her way through the thing, first off, she takes off her space. Well, she takes off afterwards, and her suit looks very Photon inspired, doesn't it? With like the black and white kind of shit.
And Future Foundation, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
grasping at straws at this rate.
And it was when she's pushing her way through the hex, she hears dialogue from the Captain Marvel film of her mum, Nick Fury, and Captain Marvel. And I think it's Nick Fury saying, "Oh," because she says she'll meet Carol in the sky or whatever, and he says only if you can glow like your aunt or something. And then boom, she's got powers, like her eyes are glowing and shit. So either this has given her powers, or she already had them. And I just feel like having powers by pushing your way through a hex without already having some kind of something special about you is kind of a bit of a cop out way of getting
Well, yeah,
powers.
because then by all means, like anyone who's been in the hex should have powers. But then, like you said, maybe that's their answer to the mutant thing they're going to use to go forward.
Maybe.
That's altered their cells, and because then Darcy should technically have powers, shouldn't she?
Yeah, I mean, Monica like pushed her way through the thing, which is I guess is different. Maybe it's rewriting her DNA as she's going through. Maybe, but I don't know. I mean, I think we're going to see her stand toe to toe against Wanda before the end of the series, so she must have some kind of bad bitch powers.
I don't know. I think we might. I think because obviously at the end when Wanda discovers Agnes's room or Agatha's room, what we're going to call her, Agnes?
I guess her real name is Agatha, isn't it? Agatha Harkness. Big reveal. Let's just mention that quick. I know we've already sort of mentioned it, but
yeah. Do you want to explain who Agatha Harkness is?
So the only thing I know about her is that she's a witch, and full stop.
And we're moving on. Yeah, no, that's about all. I know she has she kind of mentors she mentors Wanda in a few comics. She's kind of just like an old lady, like Doctor Strange kind of thing. So she's a bit more, not necessarily good, but she's not evil either. She's like just
a bit more dealing with like death and various other stuff like that.
But she is also, and just to tie this back in again, she does have a few run-ins with the Fantastic Four. She is particularly known for, I think she trains Franklin Richards, or she like cares for him at some point.
See, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Just bring the Fantastic
Four. By the way,
the
Future Foundation I mentioned earlier, that is the Fantastic Four, kind of. They went under a different moniker when Spider-Man joined the team and the Human Torch left because he died. Sorry.
What a downgrade, eh?
Yeah, I'd say so. Get rid of the thing.
I mean, Spider-Man's probably as strong as the Thing, let's be honest. And that's all he's good for.
So,
Bloody pebblehead.
So Agatha's kind of got Wanda,
under control.
In her control. But then her evil henchman, or so we assume, Quicksilver, then found Monica snooping around.
So obviously we don't see him throughout the whole episode, apart from when it's revealed that she's sort of controlling him when he first appears. And so it begs the question: is he real, or is he has she created him to toy with Wanda, or has she literally yoinked him from another reality? Which is what I would hope. Because I want him to be real.
Yeah, so do I. But then he does seem it's weird because he knew what was going on in that Halloween episode. Like he was talking to her, like you're doing this. What's happening?
Yeah, and we said, didn't we, that we reckon it was someone trying to get information from Wanda. So maybe it's Agnes in his head, or controlling him, sort of reading his mind, like Wanda does to other people. Maybe she was using that to try to get through Wanda by being her brother, kind of thing.
Or maybe because she knew Vision was breaking free, she wanted to see what Wanda knew and kind of like, maybe be like, all right, so I know Vision because she's dealing with Vision, and then he's dealing with Wanda, so she's kind of got her bases covered. Like, right, what do you know? What do you know? Like, hang on, someone's calling me. I'm veggie sex. Yeah. Okay, I'm just on with those. Just my food. But yeah, so I do think I don't want him to be an evil henchman.
No.
But
I would be fine with him being an evil henchman if then she stopped controlling him by the end of the series.
Yeah, or Wanda broke it and she's like, you can't really touch a moment. She's like, oh, you're my brother, I got you back. Yeah. I've lost you once, I'm not losing you again.
Boom, she blows off Agnes's head with a magnum.
Yeah. Calling who's got a real big gun?
Rocket Raccoon.
Raccoon. It makes sense.
All right, so if by the next episode, the Fantastic Four and Rocket Raccoon don't show up, then we're not watching the finale. Is that right?
Yeah, then we
Okay.
riot and
Deal.
we march up to Kevin Feige and we steal his baseball cap
Yeah.
and we throw it on the ground.
And we spit on his
give
bald
him-
head and we go with our elbows.
How get out of my brain? So I don't know if then if Quicksilver is like her henchman, then he's captured Monica as well. But obviously, like we say, if
has he captured
Agnes
her, or is he just chatting to her? Because he sort of just leans in like Snoopers are gonna snoop.
That's it. Well, that's it. So you don't know, is he like, I was investigating as well because after Halloween, I've just woken up and I'm here. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Maybe he wants help from her. We don't know.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Because she's the only townsperson that's acting on her own accord, according to him. Like as far as he knows, because he knows that Wanda's controlling everyone.
Yeah, but then if Agnes was controlling him in the last episode, Wanda hit him with her magic, didn't she?
Oh yeah, maybe she knocked him out.
So
of it.
maybe he's just woken up and he's like, "What's going on? Like,
whoa, where did I get this beanie from?"
Yeah, whoa, why am I a different man? Like, so there's obviously a different. Yeah. He knows something's going on with these people, so maybe he's like, "Hey, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and I want answers." Or again, he's being controlled by
he's gonna take Monica down there, and then they're gonna have to bust their way out.
And then Monica and Scarlet Witch are gonna have like a heart-to-heart or talk it out while they're both in captivity.
And they're gonna be like, "You got glowing eyes. I've got glowing eyes. Let's be friends."
Yeah, and then she'll be like, "What the hell happened?" And she'll be like, "Oh, I broke into Sword and stole Vision's body because I want to rebuild it." And then I remember being offered the chance to go live away, and that's our explanation from that end. Then we've got Darcy with Vision can give in that end. Vision's on his way to save the day, and he can go do some bits. Oh, I'd love a Vision Quicksilver fight.
Oh, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? He'd be like, "You didn't see this coming." And you'd be like, "Well, come on now."
Well,
I did see that coming.
Visible and like see through.
Yeah, you can't run really fast and punch something that you can't actually touch, can you?
Because also, I don't think Vision and Quicksilver ever share like screen time that's not in a group in Age of Ultron.
No, I don't think they do.
Apart from WandaVision. But besides that,
well, yeah. I thought you meant like the old picture.
But in Age of Ultron, I don't think they share any lines together.
I don't think they do either. He didn't. Well, he has like 4 lines in the entire film.
Yeah, exactly. But also, like the kids are missing as well. So like, is that gonna then mess with her?
Are they real? Are they not real? We don't know that either.
Well, because there's the missing boy on the milk card, isn't there? So I think.
But then is that a hint? Is that a sort of a hint towards the fact that there was no children in Westview for quite a long time?
Maybe, but it's blurred, so you're not supposed to see it.
So in terms of the theory of like Agnes has sort of said to Wanda like I can sort of give you what you want, I can help you get this perfect life. When she goes down into the basement, you see this really spooky book. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is, I looked it up, it's called The Dark Hold. Okay. And apparently it can like create any reality you want. Or something along those lines. So that book which is in the center of the basement, which seems to be sort of encroaching outwards with its like weird vines and roots and shit. Maybe that is the source of the whole hex. Maybe that's like the center, and it's just it's using Wanda's powers to amplify, maybe, or something along those lines.
Oh, that's a good shout. See, I thought it may be like a, for lack of a better description, a Little Mermaid situation, where like she signed a contract with Agatha. Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, they're going to turn her into a fish. But yeah, so she kind of she signs a contract with Agatha.
Yeah,
or maybe someone else. Fisto.
Agatha Fisto.
Oh no! Don't ever say that again.
Sorry, Karen.
So yeah, so it's that kind of like if you can get me Vision's body and that Infinity Gem that's in his head, then you can have your perfect little life. So
it's not in his head though, is it? That's why he's got the big dink in his head.
Wow, yeah, but when he came out the hex, he was again original recipe Vision.
Wasn't he? And it was there.
It was there. That's what I mean. Like. Because Hayward's been doing stuff on it, so maybe she's like, like everyone just wants Vision's thing, and Wanda's like, no, he's my man, and I'm gonna go blow your head up, and then it's a really cool action scene, and then Rocket Raccoon comes in to save the day.
Yeah, and the Fantastic Four arrive without Spider-Man.
Yes, and with Herbie the robot, who also replaced the Human Torch because parents were worried that kids will set themselves on fire.
And we did.
We did it all the time. That's why this is an audio medium only, and there's no video. No, I'm not going to say that. That's horrible.
Sorry, we're Spawn and Deadpool.
How? Because the next episode is supposed to be longer, isn't it? About 40 minutes.
Yeah, well, I heard so I heard the last three episodes were going to be an hour each. Now, clearly, it'll be the last two. But then they said with credits. I mean, who knows at this point? But the fact that we got an end credit scene makes me think that we've now, well, it's sort of an indication that we've now moved out of the sitcom stuff and into the MCU.
Yeah. So like that is the sitcom stuff over with.
Because where would you even go at
speaking
this point?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think this is fully like WandaVision now, not WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Yeah, I can't not sing it to the theme of an old kids show, and it's not Chucklevision. It's
WandaVision.
What is it?
WandaVision. I can't think of any other kids show that have vision in the title.
No, that's the thing. It hasn't even got vision in. I'm just thinking. Storymakers from CBeebies.
Oh, is that with the cow that goes on the bus or something?
Yeah, Blue Cow.
Blue Cow.
I can remember that, but I can't remember like how much my phone bill is every month.
You just have it like automatically come out of your.
Yeah, but I like to keep track of these things.
I don't, which is my big problem.
Well, any final thoughts on this episode or WandaVision?
I really enjoyed this episode, but I think it's less exciting because we're now becoming more used to the crazy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it wasn't as exciting as last week's, but because we're now more accustomed and we're expecting more crazy shit rather than it coming out of left field.
Yeah, I feel like the next episode is going to be a real like exposition dump because I'm done with them introducing things now. I'm like, okay, start answering my questions now. Stop feeding me stuff.
And clearly, the last episode's got to be like the big final act kind of thing. Yeah,
where Rocket Raccoon shows up. But yeah, so I think I much preferred the Halloween episode. I think that was still my favourite one so far. But this one was all right, but
it was good.
It was just putting everyone in their place, ready for the next few episodes.
It had some nice dynamics with like Vision and Darcy, stuff like that. But
do you keep wanting to call her Kat Dennings?
I did almost call her that.
I don't know why.
I also made a note. That's completely irrelevant, but when I was at work, I made a note because it just popped into my head that Kat Dennings and Jimmy Woo have both been main characters of sitcoms outside of this. So Kat Dennings was Two Broke Girls. Jimmy Woo was it's like Fresh Off the Boat, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously he's in The Office as well, and then that led me on a thing of looking up the other actors, and if they've been in sitcoms, then I couldn't find anything else. So,
but like the other townspeople, I want to know who they are. Like, are they in on it, or are they still with mind controlled? Like, we don't know. We don't know what's what.
Yeah, it'd be nice to actually get some answers.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
We will.
2-3 more weeks, and then we're done. And then it's all about your boy, the Falcon, and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, boy. I'm excited. I watched the trailer again earlier.
Well, speaking of sitcoms coming to an end, I thought it'd be cool if, for the second part of today's episode, we kind of go back and look over some of our favourite sitcoms that are on, were on, were never on, and will soon be on, maybe. Who knows?
What a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
I think you're quite versed in the world of sitcoms, are you not?
I am, but I would just watch the same ones over and over again.
I think that's what anyone does. They pick a favourite sitcom and you watch it till you die.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I can just list some of my favourite ones. I'm sure you've seen them all.
I've seen everything to exist ever, apart from the things that I haven't.
Okay, that's right then. That's fine.
But
I'm pretty sure that's a very our Venn diagram of what we've seen is just a circle at this point. From a teeny tiny bit of Lord of the Rings, that's it.
And some of the things we talked about in the last episode.
Yeah, that too. Moving on. So one of the first sitcoms I thought we could talk about is the first sitcom that I ever was into that wasn't just on TV, if that makes sense. I sought it out and found it, and that would be Scrubs, which came out a bit before our time, and it's very weird to watch it back.
Was it before our time, or was it as we were?
It was as we were.
When did it come out? When was the start? Was it 2000?
Like 2002 or 3. So we were far too young to watch it. But we were definitely 6 16, maybe 17 by the time it ended.
Yeah, it
Season 8.
went for a long time, didn't it? Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Did it only have
Well,
8 seasons?
yes, there was never a ninth season. I don't know what you're on about.
I wasn't actually sure if this was a bit or if it genuinely didn't have another season. I couldn't remember.
No, no. Well, Scrubs ran from seasons 1 to 8, and then
Yeah.
they brought it back for season 9. The idea was it was going to be a spin-off. It was going to be the med school,
Yeah.
but and like they were going to kind of soft launch it with like the other characters being in, and then eventually just focus on the students
Yeah.
and obviously bring in new teachers. But the big wigs were like, no, you have to mark it as Scrubs season 9, with the like subtitle of medical school or med school, whatever.
Yeah, and it had
So
like
it's
Dave
kind of in
Franco
this-
and stuff, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, it had a really strong cast, like, and I think it just didn't get the chance to be its own thing, and because it came out
Yeah.
so soon after the season 8's finale, which is phenomenal, it kind of I don't think it ever found the time to like catch its own.
Yeah.
It could run off
Get-
its own steam. It was
What's the word where it's like when you move out of your parents' house, you like
independent.
yeah. I feel like there's a specific saying I'm thinking of. I can't remember. Something standing on your own two legs. Is that what I'm thinking of?
On your own two,
That
on your own
should-
2 feet.
Don't 2 feet. That shouldn't have taken me so long to think of.
We should go on catchphrase. We're good at this.
Yeah, I do like
Um,
Scrubs. Scrubs is it's a great show.
Well, it was one of the. It was like one of those shows where it can have you rolling on the floor laughing in one scene, and then the next scene it just delivers an utterly like gut punching.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Oh Christ! I'd like.
Very emotional. Like I think the thing that sticks out to me is Dr. Cox's. Is it his friend or his brother?
Yeah.
Brendan-
it's his
with
friend.
Brendan
Yeah,
Fraser.
it's his friend. Yeah, Brendan Fraser. Yeah, it's his friend. It's his wife's brother. But
Oh,
yeah, his friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting confused.
Yeah, I mean, like that episode. I think that is the highest rated episode on like IMDb. If you go
That
on
doesn't
there.
surprise me.
Because besides the twist, spoilers for the show, which is like 10 years old now. But
Spoilers for everything ever. If you're listening to this podcast, just assume spoilers for everything.
Yeah, we do try and say the thing up top. So if you're like, oh, I haven't finished that, like, there probably will be spoilers. But yeah, the twist where, because even in the beginning of it, because what was good about that episode, like that episode in particular, is he was like a recurring character, and like Scrubs did have that, so they had like these recurring characters who maybe popped in, not even every season, maybe every other season,
Yeah.
but it just helped like the world feel like lived in. Like JD's brother is in, like Tom Cavanagh played his brother, and like he popped up in the first series, and then I think like the second one, and then he didn't come in again until like the fourth season, and then
Yeah.
like the fifth or sixth, and like, but he only popped in for an episode or two, kind of interacted with the others, and then was off again. And he never like none of these characters ever outstayed their welcome. And
Yeah.
again, same with like Brendan Fraser. He was in, I want to say season 1 or season 2, and even that first episode he's in is like the gut punch at the end.
Yeah, when you
like,
find out.
JD gives him the results, and he's got leukemia, because it's like the whole episode is like one of JD's fantasies.
Oh yeah, explain the whole JD fantasy thing.
Oh yeah,
Of
okay.
this
So
as well.
Scrubs is basically it's a sitcom following a intern at a hospital, doctor intern man.
Doctor Intern. Dintern.
Yeah, but
The
intern,
world's
yes.
tallest doctor.
And his friend Turkleton. But yeah, so it follows the story of these like junior doctors, and obviously like they eventually turn into proper doctors, like attendings. I think the Americans call it. But
Residents or
JD,
something or other.
the lead character, he kind of narrates over his mind and has like these like weird fantasies, and he just drifts off, and
Don't we all?
it's a bit like Family Guy, but not as cringy and like ham-fisted. But yeah, and so this one with the first episode you see Ben in is he gets the results, but all day everyone's been saying like, oh, the lab technician's been really late with my results. Like, oh my god, I got that and that confused, and like he wants this to be another mistake that other people have found. So he's like, no, it's all right, I'll go rerun them. And then at the end of the episode, you realise that none of the good news and the fun stuff that happened was real.
And it was all
When
fantasy.
yeah, because it's such a good thing, because it's like you have this like happy montage of like Ben like saying goodbye to everyone, and JD says in the like monologue at the end, he's like, oh, even though he was only here for a day, he made such a connection with all these people. And this character, he always carries a Polaroid camera with him,
Yeah.
And it's like, he takes a nice stage picture, and he says to him like, "Oh, I thought you hate stage pictures." And he's like, "Yeah, but this isn't real, JD. Like none of today's been real."
Oof.
And then instantly you're back in the room where they're like, "Yeah, what the results say?" And he's like, "Yeah, you got leukemia." And it's like, it just
That's
like it
intense.
breaks you. But
Yeah.
the funeral one you're talking about is even worse. The same sort of thing happens. It's Dr. Cox seeing Ben,
Oh
following him
yeah, of
around,
course. Yeah.
and he
I was
keeps
getting too
saying,
muddled up.
"Yeah, sorry, I kind of jumped back a bit, but yeah." But even that one's done in a clever way because JD's got an old man patient, and then Ben comes back for a checkup. So Cox is like, "Hey, me and Ben are going off. I need you to run tests on both of these guys,
Hmm.
or run Ben's tests in this old man." And then eventually he comes back, and JD says, "Oh, he didn't make it." And he's like, "Oh no, you must have made a mistake. You screwed up. Like this couldn't have happened." And he's like, "Oh," and JD's kind of on the back foot, and Cox is really angry with him. And you kind of follow him and Ben around the hospital for the day. But then it's only right at the end where you think they're at Dr. Cox, played by the brilliant John C. McGinley, by the way, but him in
Yeah.
an MCU role like ASAP. Actually, I always thought he'd make a good Commissioner. I'll save it for another episode. He'd make a good Commissioner Gordon. Um, but yeah, and I think he says like, "Oh yeah, we're at my son's birthday party. Where's your camera? You're not taking pictures." And then it's when JD delivered that line. He's like, "Where do you think we are?" And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and he
Oh,
turns
it's
around and
rough.
Ben's gone, and you think like, "Oh my god!" And
And they're
then
at the funeral.
I
Is
think
that
Dr.
right?
Cox has some of
Oh.
the yeah, they're at the funeral, yeah,
He
panned
really
over,
has the sort of dramatic chops as well as the
yeah.
comedic stuff. I think he does that very well.
But I think but I think it's that character earns it because of like how
Mm.
he's played. He's that tough mentor, and he's always insulting people, and he's so cocksure of himself, and he is like this,
Yeah.
like he's a brilliant character. I remember he made the top I think top 15 IMDb TV characters of the 2010s or something like that. It was like
Oh,
a
really?
list. Yeah,
Mm.
he may have even made top 10, I think.
Can't argue with
But
that. He is
he was
probably the
definitely up
best.
there.
He's probably the best thing in that show. Like, there's lots of great stuff in
Yeah,
Scrubs. Ted, the janitor, like, loads of great characters. Obviously,
yeah,
like
and it's like,
JD and Toke as well, but
mm,
there's a lot of standout kind of characters. But I think Dr. Cox probably takes the top spot.
oh yeah, he's definitely just chews scenery when he's in there.
Mm.
And then they do give him these really heavy hitting episodes, like all the Ben stuff, and the one where he loses the three patients to rabies. Like, oh, that
Mm.
God, that is heartbreaking to watch. Like the acting in it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That scene, what's the song? "How to Save a Life" by The Fray.
Oh,
Basically, what happens is
heartbreak juice.
yeah, it's brutal. But the plot is Cox has three patients who are all waiting on transplants, and then they get in
Mm.
a character. This again, this recurring character who's been in the hospital a few times, and she sadly doesn't make it. They put it down to, I think they think that it's suicide or something,
Mm.
or something like that along that. As a JD feels responsible because he didn't reach out to her, and then like it's like the one time you see like Dr. Cox be quite kind to him, and he's like, "Look, come on, let's go get some lunch. You can't blame yourself for these things. Like once you do, then like that's a slippery slope you don't come back from."
Yeah.
But then it turns out, but then obviously because she dies, Cox gets his transplant, so he puts some, obviously all his patients get their new organs, and then it's revealed that she didn't die from an OD, she died from rabies, which obviously like a complete blindsight. And then all of these patients, and it's like the end scene, and he's trying to revive him, and it's like the acting in his face, and the acting in whoever plays Carla, Judy Reyes, I think. And
Mm.
like she looks so terrified in that moment, and it's so good. Honestly, I've got everyone listening, including Lewis. I
Yeah.
don't care how, if you haven't even got trousers on, go look this scene up. Like just type in Scrubs "How to Save a Life," and it's honestly one of the best moments of television going. And I will die
Yeah.
on this hill.
And we probably do need to remind you that this is a sitcom.
Yes, it's very funny as well. But that's what we
There's
were
a bit
saying.
where they go on each other's shoulders and they call themselves the world's most giant doctor, or whatever it is. So there is some funny
Yeah,
parts as well.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring the mood down, folks.
Oh my god, I'm gonna go slap myself.
I lost myself in that then. Jesus. But yeah, that's why I personally love
Yeah.
Scrubs, because it has these heavy beats, but at the same time, you've got just some of the funniest and most well written characters. Like you said earlier, mentioned like Ted and the janitor. I know you.
Yeah.
What's that line of Ted's that you always laugh at?
Oh, it's not. Oh, It's it's something where someone says that to him and he goes, "Oh," or something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
I can't
oh,
remember.
it's when he goes. Again, he goes, "Oh, what's a buckland?" He goes, "Oh, it's a hairless growth rarely found on women." He's like, "Oh, cool." He's like, "It's your surname, Ted." He's like,
Oh,
"Ah." Like,
what's a buckler?
although he yeah,
He
not to bring the mood down, but
he
he
passed
passed
away, didn't
away
he?
last
Yeah,
year
sad
of
times.
a yeah. I
Great
think it was a
singer.
brain tumor. I think.
Mm.
Yeah, fantastic thing, and that's what I mean. Like that's like Scrubs. It's just so
Mm.
mental. Like you think, oh, it's a sitcom set in a hospital, but it's so much more than that. Like you
Yeah.
have the lawyer who is an awful lawyer, but he's in a cappella group, and the janitor who no one knows what his name is, and he originally
Yeah.
started out as a figment of JD's imagination, and like it's just such a weirdly built world. And like I say,
Yeah.
because you
But
have
it
these
works so
cinema,
well.
yeah, and like the humor is spot on. Like
Yeah.
the humor hasn't aged a day,
Yeah.
like at all. And I mean, again, I'm not trying to get too serious on it, but like even some of the characterizations, like JD and Turk, like their friendship, everyone jokes and like, oh, you must be gay, but they never let that get to them. They are just
Yeah.
comfortable enough in their
That's
masculinity to be
they're the original
affectionate with each
bromance.
other.
Oh no, the original bromance of TV.
Yeah,
I think nothing quite tops them. They're probably more of a bromance than Joey and Chandler from Friends.
I was about to say that may be the only one that can top it out, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think they are.
They have more emotional
But
beats than them characters ever do.
yeah,
I
I mean
think.
those Zach Braff and Donald Faison who play Turk and JD, actually have their own podcast where they're doing a Scrubs rewatch and they're going back through
Oh.
it. So if you are looking for another podcast to watch and you like Scrubs, jump on that.
Yeah, I might
Again,
have to do that.
it's very good. I think they're on like season 4 now, but obviously that means that you've got like 300 and a bit episodes in the tank to go back and watch.
Oh.
Um, well, you just
Yeah.
pick whichever episode you want to hear
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I know they're getting on like cast members and stuff and the writers and stuff. So,
Oh, that's cool.
but yeah, I think definitely Scrubs is
Mm,
one of,
for
if
sure.
not my,
Yeah.
is it my favorite? It's definitely top
Yeah.
top two, tied. It's tied for first place.
Yeah. I was
Well, but
I'm gonna completely flip the script here, and well, not flip the script. I'm gonna go for something completely opposite, and I was gonna mention, oh, it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
oh right.
Have you seen it?
I can't do cringe humor, and I watched the first episode of this, and I did turn off.
Yeah, I didn't
couldn't
think it'd
get
be
with
your
it.
cup of tea, but
I just yeah.
I love it. It's the perfect. So it's a group of friends that own a bar in Philadelphia, and they are just the worst people. Like
Mm,
even down to like they're homophobic, they're racist, but not like overtly like you would see in I don't know, Family Guy again. But
right,
like
yeah.
they're I'm trying to think of an example like where the character Mac would like says to an African American guy, like he says like, see, this is what I mean about you people, but obviously he's not talking about that, and but it's that those kind of jokes, and it is cringe humor.
So are they intentionally like racist, or is it just like they
No,
just
it's
said the wrong
just
thing?
they're it's a little bit of both, because these are kind of the worst people. They're dickheads, they're weird, they're creepy, they exploit people, like they exploit each other. They kind of hate each other, but they kind of love each other at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing about the show is that they could do all this kind of humor that people say you can't do nowadays, because they're doing it from an angle of these people are the worst. These are the worst
Mm.
people. They're not just saying these jokes like to
So
get a
it's almost
laugh.
like
These people,
you don't want to root for them to
yeah,
win
exactly,
because of
exactly.
that.
They're all horrible people, but you sort of learn to you love them in a way like I love how funny they are, but not like I love them these as people. It's like the opposite of
Because
Scrubs.
because Danny DeVito joins the cast, doesn't
Yeah,
he, in
so
like
season
season
two,
two?
Danny DeVito comes in, and it just completes the ensemble cast perfectly. Like Danny DeVito, seeing Danny DeVito naked and greased up, and and bursting his way out of a sofa, and just wriggling along the floor and running off. Like that, where is he going to see that? And it spawned so many memes, and like like the Danny DeVito rumor is like just started blasting, like all those kind of
Yeah,
memes. Like,
and
it's
like
just
suicide is badass.
yeah,
Like, oh.
and like they have a whole musical episode called The Nightman. Oh, it's just it's so funny, and I think it is now the longest running live action sitcom of all time.
Really?
Yeah, it's got the most seasons. It's on season 14, something like that. It's been going
Whoa.
for so long, and it's sort of the same shit, but somehow they've managed to make it work from the early 2000s till now. And
That's
I don't know
wild.
how. Like there is varying quality season to season and stuff. But the fact is, because it's written by the three main characters, they write it, they produce it, they star in it, and it's just their thing that they do. And
Right. Okay.
I love it. It's so fun. I binged it all throughout uni, like multiple times.
Well, I do want to like start watching it, but like I say, I just can't deal with the cringe. I get like
Yeah.
it's the same reason I haven't watched things like the UK Office or like even the In-Betweeners I struggle with sometimes. Like Friday Night Dinner, like that whole angle of like I just
I
can't
love
with the
it.
cringe.
I
Oh, I
love it.
hate
I
it
think
so
the
much. But
the cringe thing is more of a UK kind of humor. I think
yeah,
Americans
like
usually go for more jokey based kind of humor.
yeah, I think American cringe is different to like UK cringe because like the UK
Oh yeah,
one is like it's intentionally cringy, so you're like
yeah.
oh
It's more
oh
awkward
it's like
silences and like
yeah. Whereas the
it
American one
leaves you
it's just
hanging.
like yeah.
It,
Whereas I think American comedy is more like they just keep talking and like
yeah,
say the wrong thing. And you think like,
and like
ooh,
gross out kind of humor.
mm. But oh no, maybe I will check it out then because I'm looking for something new to watch rather than these same like three shows.
Well,
over
it's
and over
also
again.
it's sort of thing that you could just leave on. Like you don't have to pay 100% attention because it's not the stories
Yeah,
aren't so in depth that if you miss 5 minutes, you're gonna be like, oh, what the fuck is happening? Like, and even if you do, you look back and you see, Danny DeVito throwing up like gargling, mentory kind of spit and vomit coming down his chest. Right.
oh
What have you got
oh
for your
maybe I'll
next
check
one?
it out then. I'll bring it back down a bit. No, I mean the other sitcom that is fighting for my number one spot is Brooklyn Nine Nine.
Nine nine
99.
nine nine.
Oh, like again, same as Scrubs. It's just fantastic. Like, it's not afraid to like make these like heavy hitting moments,
Mm,
but at the same time, it is just
it's very funny.
constantly like funny. I think
Yeah,
there's only like maybe I mean currently 7 seasons.
yeah,
I think there's only like 3 episodes. I like skip usually on my watch throughs, and even then, I might just leave them on just because there's still good moments in them.
yeah.
Like even the bad episodes
Yeah.
are good.
All the
Like
characters are really likable, aren't they? Like you enjoy being in their life in a way. Like you enjoy watching it. Like Jake
yeah,
especially. Like you want to see him
mm,
succeed. Like he's an idiot, but he is like a lovable idiot.
yeah. It's like the first season was kind of marketed as like oh you got the stern by the book captain who want like and then the goofy renegade cop, but every character has a relationship with each other. All the main
Yeah,
like 6, 7, like each of them. Like you've got Jake and Amy. That okay, they're the well they weren't they. Then you got Jake and Gina. Like they were childhood friends, and Jake and Boyle were best friends, and Jake and Holt, and Jake and Terry. They're like
yeah.
he
And
looks up
Jake
to
and
him, and then
Rosa went to didn't they do
like
go to police
the,
academy together or something along those
yeah,
lines?
I think it's Police Academy. But then
Mm,
their relationship has never taken anything past friendship.
yeah,
Like
and they don't hint at it. Or, like, it's
as
not.
of recording,
Wow.
But I mean, even in the early days, they had the whole Charles fancies Rosa
Oh yeah, I
storyline,
forgot about that.
and yeah, but then they kind of got rid of it in the halfway through season 1 because it didn't need that. Like we've
Yeah,
seen that before in sitcoms where you've got the
the weird funny
hopeless,
guy that fancies like the attractive kind of
yeah, the hopeless
that's out of his
romantic.
league kind of thing.
Hmm.
And nine
But then
times
I
out of
think
ten, they end up getting together. But Brooklyn Nine-Nine were like, nah, we ain't doing that.
yeah, and then he then becomes the first one to find out she's bi, and it's like
Yeah.
and like you can see their relationships develop to that point, and
Mm.
yeah, I think it's just I think
It's
it's
so
superb. And
diverse cast-wise, and not just cast, but like in terms of like race, sexuality, all of that sort of stuff.
exactly, but that's never a point of it. I mean, in
There,
certain episodes,
yeah,
it
there are
certainly
episodes
is.
that like touch on it, but
Deal.
it's not that they're not using it as oh look at us, we're being diverse, we're being inclusive. They
Yeah,
just do it.
looking at you, BBC, but like it's like, and it doesn't feel like they're ticking boxes
Yeah,
for diversity's sake. They are like, oh no, this is a world
yeah,
which
like
these people
because
exist in.
you'll have a gay black police captain. Why wouldn't you? Of course you would.
Yeah,
Like,
but
but they
then
don't
like
make it a point of being like, look what we've got. Like it's just there. It's
yeah,
just it.
because even like his husband Kevin, who's like a recurring character, is never treated as he's the captain's husband, but like he could easily he's just his spouse, like his
Yeah.
partner.
And neither of them act like are trying to act like overly, yeah, feminine and all that. It's just they're just
They are
they're just like
gay.
anybody else, like anyone kind of thing.
And like there's one or two jokes like he does there's the one between him and Terry where he pulls the gay card, um, and like things like that, and and it is like
it's done so well though.
Yeah, and it does make these worlds again these characters more real, and it's never and it's never played off. I remember I think it was either Amy or Rosa, the actresses, they found out they were cast. There was another Latina audition as well, and they're like, oh well, that's it. They're not going to hire both of us, and then they did.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, because you can have two Latino actors, you can have two black characters, you've got two gay characters, and and it doesn't feel
feel forced.
No, and it's because
they're in New York after all. It's like a cesspool for diversity. Not a cesspool. That didn't come out right. It's not what I meant.
A mix of
a mixing pot. A mixing pot of all cultures and stuff. That really didn't come out right.
As your lawyer, stop talking.
Can I just say one of my favourite jokes now of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and this involves Captain Holt and Kevin, and it's when they haven't been able to see each other, and Captain Holt's going a bit crazy, and then Rosa goes to say something, and they're like, no, don't say it. And he's like, Captain Holt, you guys just need a bone. And then he looks at her. He's like, and then it just switches to another camera, and he's just going, bone,
bone. It's like, how dare you? Oh, things like that. Oh, they just come out of nowhere, and it's like, proper belly hurting laughs. Yeah. The cold opens. Where Amy's late because she's at the bank. Yeah. And again, it's because you have these characters, you set them up in a certain way, but then that's one time they do something against the grain. Yeah. It's hilarious. You could argue Holt's been kind of flanderized in the later seasons, and but it works. It works for what it is.
It does.
And again,
it does.
And the joke is never hangs on their characters being the butt of the joke. They. Boyle might say something weird like the shampooing a woman's hair, but they never. The joke is never always at Boyle's expense.
I'm just thinking of something. I think it's might be in the first episode, and it's Boyle, and he bangs his knee or something. And he drops his muffin, and then he treads on his muffin. He's like, my hand on my muffin. Shift on my muffin.
Oh, Charles Boyle is too pure for this world.
Oh god.
No, there's the other cold open where Jake comes in, he goes, oh hey boy, how was your weekend? He goes, oh, I got ill. He's like, oh no. He's like, yeah, I came down with a giant Diane yeast infection. And the camera just hangs on it, and it's like, and again it's a shaky camera from Parks and Rec, and then he goes yeet, and before you can even finish it, that's when the theme song cuts in. Yeah, it's so good because that's and I think. Even the camera work helps sell these jokes, because it's all handheld, so they can hold on stuff, and it is and they can do the punch and zooms that help make a joke land.
I need to watch this again. I forgot how
it's on a constant. It's on a constant watch on my Netflix.
And I think
as soon as I finish
one of the best things about it as well is that obviously season 1 they're a bit more buffoony, but then it sort of. They end up being good policemen. They can be funny and stupid without necessarily being bad at their jobs. It's not just another sitcom of people that are, we're in a workplace and we're all shit and idiots. They are actually good policemen, and they're good detectives.
Yeah, I mean, there's Hitchcock and Scully, but there's kind of a joke that they are good, but they just prefer working from their desks.
I mean, they used to be, didn't they, back in the day when they were big beefy guys.
And and every now and then they kind of, but then they are always involved in the squad as well.
The butt of the joke isn't always we're all just shit policemen. It's we all have our own personalities, but we're still good at our jobs. That's why we have our jobs. But we do funny things.
And it's from and it does bring up the kind of moral question, obviously everything going on lately. I'm not going to get into this, but this is too heavy for a podcast. I'm going to ignore that. But but then they do touch on serious issues as well. There's the episode Moo, which has Terry Crews getting stopped by a police officer who racially profiles him, but they still managed to make a joke out of it because of that. But because he's going through this, Jake and Amy have to watch his kids, and then they get stuck with the awkward questions, and it's and the jokes kind of come from that. and even then, and then there's a bit where he confronts Holt because Holt's not going to take his report serious. He's not going to file the report.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a dinner party going on that Holt kind of wants to avoid. So there's again, and it's like you can have these serious moments, but they make jokes work not at the expense of the message. And I think it's just it's such clever writing. And you have the annual staples like the Halloween heists, and the Doug Judy episodes, and so good. Put Craig Robinson in more things.
I think I'm glad that it's.
I demand it.
Yeah. I'm glad that it's done the way it is, and not like like The Office and Parks and Rec, where it's like a documentary. I'm glad it's done. Like there's not someone filming them. Like we're just watching them. It's not. Because I think if they did it the same as The Office and stuff like that, it would I don't think it would be as good, because it'd be like they're showing up for the camera sort of thing, like they do in those other shows. Those other shows are good. I just think it benefits from we're just watching them, so we can follow them anywhere and we don't have to worry about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because again, even though it's set in a precinct, a lot of the stories are about the characters themselves, so it doesn't necessarily rely on. Like The Office is about the office workspace. Obviously, they do some bits where they're at home or out and about, but clues in the name. Same with Parks and Rec; it's the Park and Recreational Department of the council.
Yeah.
But with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's not. Yeah, it's not about.
It's about the precinct, like the
precinct.
They look after the whole area, don't they? They don't. It's not like they're just sitting in the office day in day out.
Yeah, exactly. But it's such a good sitcom. I love it so much.
I agree.
And as much as I'm sad it's ending, it's a bit like Scrubs, and I have faith in the writers to end it.
You don't want to overstay its welcome, sort of thing. Like you don't want it to run until it gets shit, essentially, because a lot of shows do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit, like the last couple of seasons where they went to NBC, particularly season 7, I think, which wasn't as long. But
was this of Scrubs?
No, this is
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Oh, sorry.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, like they try to be a bit self-aware, but they're almost like it's verging on that point of like, all right, yeah, we get it's ridiculous as the audience, but we don't need you to tell us it's ridiculous. Like the Halloween heists, like they get to the point where it's like it's bigger and bigger every year, and you think, all right, well, we know. Like if someone new has to win every year, then we know who's winning the next one, and things like that, and and like the Doug Judy episodes, it got to the point where like, okay, you could put that character to bed now, but then they introduced the sister and he got married and things like that. And
you don't want to overplay the same sort of jokes.
Yeah.
Too much.
So now that because I think they've only got like 10 episodes, I think, for the next season. So they've got 10 episodes to end it. But yeah, I think end it on your own terms and let it go out with a bang, and be memorable rather than it slowly die off.
You don't want it fizzling out and being left with like a bad taste in people's mouths because of the ending.
It's kept the same cast as well since the first episode, which is incredible. Like when you think about it, like
did they add anyone else as like a mainstay character?
No,
because obviously there's the whole there's the Gina left, didn't she? Did she come back?
She's kind of she's about in the world.
Yeah.
She just doesn't become a main. She's not like a main
I
character.
think is that because she had a child in real life? Is that why?
I think so. I think she just wanted to lead the project. I think she was just kind of. There probably wasn't like, I don't know. I don't think there's much left they can do with that character. But then also, I imagine Chelsea Peretti probably just wanted out to focus on other bits.
Yeah, it probably could become quite monotonous doing the same thing for like 8 years. Who knows? But
because they've established these extra characters who live in this world, like you've got like your Kevins, your Pimentos, your Vultures, and who else, Wunch and stuff, and Gina now. I guess.
All of Boyle's family.
Like, yeah, and and Nicolaj.
Nicolaj.
No, it's Nicolaj.
Nicolaj.
Yeah, Nicolaj.
Nicolaj.
I feel like I'm saying it. I'm so glad you jumped on that. But yeah, and like, so if you do have someone like Gina who leaves, you can be like, rest assured, she's still out there in the world.
Yeah.
Like, and you could have her come back for one and done. You think, oh yeah, because.
Right. I mean, why not? She probably lives, down the road in the next state.
Exactly, and she's got a relationship with these characters, so it's not contrived to get her back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Do like, I love
love it.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
It's
Yeah, I'm not even sure
it's
if I'm
so good.
up to date. I'm not sure if I finished. What's the latest season? 7?
Season
Or
seven's
is
the
it
latest, but I
6?
don't think it's on UK Netflix yet. I think
Uh,
season
oh,
six is
that'd
on
be
UK
one then.
Netflix.
Yeah, I don't.
Seventh one
Yeah,
is going on soon. I think like
all
March.
right. I'll have to jump on that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You have. Oh, it's so good. I even from like episode 1, I remember seeing it on advertising like E4.
Hmm.
I was like, I'm gonna watch this. Watching episode, I think 1 and 2 came out the same day, maybe over here, and being like, oh yeah, I'm on board already. Like
Hmm.
from 2 episodes in, like I can't think of
Yeah.
another show that's been able to do that. That I've not been like, I'm watching like WandaVision. I'm watching because I have to watch it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
I know
I
what you mean.
think it's just
Yeah.
I think it's just a marvel of
Yeah.
writing. And, oh, it's so good. It's just funny and like, and it's easy watching. Like you said about like Always Sunny, like you can just leave it on.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
just,
A lot of the time, I like if I'm bored, I will just chuck on an episode of
Hmm.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine on my second screen while I'm just doing shit on my main monitor. And, like it should be on because it's just nice to listen to, and it's easy. Again, easy watching. You don't have to pay full attention.
And there's no laugh track or anything like that. It's just,
Hmm.
but it's 20 minutes, bang, and usually there is like some sort of like mystery or case to solve, especially in the first season. And
Yeah.
like you know they'll be like, oh, why is Captain Holt miserable? Oh, we got to work it out. And like,
Mm.
you know, there is like a case, a running plot throughout the episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Oh, is it my favorite? Do I prefer it to Scrubs? Oh, this is hard. I've watched Scrubs more. Oh, have I though?
I'm not even sure what my favorite sitcom is, to be completely honest. The one
It's
I've watched the
definitely between
most,
these
I've
two.
definitely watched Friends the most. Like I know we haven't really
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about the classic sort of sitcoms, but obviously Friends is. I loved Friends growing up. I'm not as hot on it as I used to be, but it's a
Friends
classic.
just always seems like it's always that program that's just always on.
Yeah, well, because it used to play on Comedy Central 24/7. So when I was in my room as a teenager, I don't know if it was to feel less lonely or something. I used to just play Friends 24/7. I wasn't even watching it; just had it on.
But again, like that's just such easy, digestible viewing. Like you don't need to
Yeah.
pay attention to it. But so, do you ever find it weird, like when you see an episode of Friends you've never seen before?
I think I've watched every single episode multiple times. Because
really?
when it came out on Netflix back in like 2017, I think it was when I was in first year of uni, and I ended up just watching it all through twice. I think, just because, and then I think I did end up seeing stuff I hadn't seen before.
Right. Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. I think I've got it on my Netflix, but I think I just pick a random episode, kind of like if I was watching it on TV.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
start
I
from
would do
the
that
beginning.
now. Like, and it was only because I was
Yeah.
specifically right. I'm going to go through, and I'm going to go from 1994 all the way to 2004, and I want to see how they change.
But like, but like I've seen like an old episode, like season 1. And I think like I've never seen this episode before. Like how do I miss an episode of Friends? Because also I can't imagine having to wait a whole week to watch an episode of Friends.
I can't imagine
It just
waiting.
seems crazy.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, like when it was still coming out, and I was really young, I thought Joey and Chandler were the opposite. So I thought Joey
Yeah.
was called Chandler, and vice versa. I don't know why.
I remember always getting Phoebe and Rachel confused because they're both blonde.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's like a kind of classic sitcom,
Classic.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of classics. Obviously, people are going to say Seinfeld, but I don't think either of us have watched it, have we?
No, I haven't not seen that.
Maybe-
Cheers,
maybe
and
not.
like Frasier and all that. But
Yeah, I mean, I've seen stuff like obviously there's How I Met Your Mother. I watched a little bit of Rules of Engagement when I was younger because he always used to come up on my dad's like E4 on TV. And all
oh
that.
yeah, that was another one that I wouldn't choose to watch. It was just on.
Yeah,
a bit
it's
like Big
just,
Bang Theory.
Yeah,
Or,
you got your Big Bang Theory, your 2.5 Men, you like all those sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
You know
But
what is,
they're
what is
okay.
a good sitcom that kind of gets slept on a bit is
What's that?
New Girl.
Oh yeah, because that was the crossover
So-
with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, doesn't it?
Yeah, but like I just watch it for Jake Johnson's character. Like, oh, he's just the epitome of just a chaotic mess. And, I love him so much. Like,
Yeah, he's
just wanna
he
hack-
plays Peter B. Parker, doesn't he? In
yeah,
Into the Spider-Verse.
yeah, he's the voice of. Yeah, but there's like, oh, it's just his character. You think like, oh, it's like, I watch it, I think, oh, it's me. And that's not a good thing, but like I've had friends message me like, do you watch New Girl? I'm like, no, and they're like, watch it and then like look up for Nick Miller. I was like, okay, and I'm like, oh, okay, like.
Like, how did I get in
But-
this show?
Is that? Oh, it's crazy. Like, there's one bit where he talks. someone's talking to him, and he's like, "You're not even looking at me." He's like, "Oh, I saw something shiny." And he's like, "How do you drive your car?" And he's like, "It's right, you got my full attention." I thought, "Oh, it was a spoon. It was a spoon." And it's like, oh, it's just like, oh, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And like the rest of the cast is good as well, but
Oh yeah.
this is, I think, a clear standout.
I think that's probably. I think that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty more out there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like there's so many classic sitcoms, but I thought we'd just go over to some of the ones that we want, and if people haven't watched them, maybe, well, they've all been spoiled for you now, but maybe you could, give them a try.
Another plot lines you can go through.
Yeah.
Another good one is Community. We didn't get a chance for that, but I think that is so in depth.
I think we could do we could do a whole episode on Community. I need to rewatch it. It's been like 3 years since I watched it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. All right, we'll rewatch that by next episode. And we'll be back here.
Yeah. Okay. Go binge all 6 seasons at once.
No, we don't talk about the last 2 seasons. No Chevy Chase and Donald Glover means I no watch.
Okay, that's fair.
I probably would watch them. I just haven't watched them at this point.
I know. I always think that. I'll end up sticking around.
Okay, sign this baby off.
Cool. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for coming back and checking us out. Thank you for all the support we've been getting as well recently since we've been pushing this out all over socials. Please, if you fancy giving it a share, it's always appreciated. Just this is just a dumb little thing we're doing. It's just nice to know that people are out there listening and responding, and it's always it's always great hearing that people are listening to it.
Yeah, and the plays have been doing good recently. So obviously the sharing is working. So please, share it around. If you know anybody, even if they don't know us, especially if they don't know us, and you think they would enjoy this kind of chat, then send them our way.
Exactly. And if you've got any ideas for episode topics, feel free to message us on Twitter at the Average Init Pod, or Average Init Pod, sorry. So Average INIT Pod. And then on Instagram at the Average Initiative. Hang on, I'm going to do this again. I'm not wearing glasses. I can't read. Hang on. I'm a nerd.
Nerd.
No. What, the guy doing a film podcast? Absolutely not.
Yeah, you are. I'm not. You are.
Yeah, you're the cool one.
Oh yeah.
You have tattoos, including the Lord of the Rings tattoo. Yeah,
doesn't really help my case there, does it?
So I'll repeat that again. So if you want to follow us on Twitter at Average Init Pod, so Average INIT Pod, on Instagram at the Average Initiative. We're also on Spotify and YouTube at the Average Initiative. So look us up on there. Thank you to Alicia Illustrations for our logo. You can find her at aliciaillustrations.com or at Leash Illustration on Instagram. And I think that's everything. Oh, and a shout out to the Trolley Dollies podcast, which should be going up soon, I'm told. Shout out to the girls from that. So go find them and give them a cheeky follow.
And shout out to 5am Beats for the little intro song that he's made us.
Oh yes, yeah, our new intro. Tell us what you
Okay, well, hopefully we'll be on Apple Podcasts soon as well. So look out for that.
Yeah, look out for that. We'll give that a push once we're out. But please all go and follow the Twitter, because it's only us following it at the minute. We want more people on there.
Kind of embarrassing.
We'll follow you back.
Follow for follow.
Average Init Pod. Yeah, back in the day. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thanks, guys.
And I guess we'll see you on Sunday. Thursday.
Probably Thursday. Who knows at this point?
I think I'm having a mental breakdown.
Okay, we're gonna let George go to bed. Bye, guys.
Bye.